Hello, everybody. Hi, welcome to the Kathie J Show. I'm Kathie J. Thanks so much for hanging out with me this half hour. So I hope you're having a good day so far. And I hope you can hang out with us this half hour because we're going to have a good show. We're going to take you around the beautiful state of Colorado. Who doesn't love that? I also want to say thank you to everybody out there who's been catching up with us on social media. Just search Kathie J. You'll find all of our channels, including our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to it. It would mean the world to me. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe. All right, so like I said, it's time for us to travel around our beautiful state of Colorado. It's time for us to get outside, hit the trails. The weather is beautiful. All right, all of us are going out to the ball fields. There's so much that our beautiful state has to offer. For the past 29, almost 30 years, Great Outdoors Colorado, who is the lottery's largest proceeds beneficiary, has put 1.4. Like, I just have to see it again. $1.4 billion back into projects that improve our lives all over Colorado. So we brought in our favorite girl, Deputy Director of the Colorado Lottery, Jennifer Anderson is here. Yay! You look beautiful today. I love the outfit. I love the skirt.
Thank you.
Looking good. You're feeling the spring weather too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I got my open-toed shoes out.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly. Yay, open-toed shoes time. Okay, so $1.4 billion is what's gone into the lottery. And hang on, we got to turn where's your mic at? $1.4 billion has gone into the lottery. I think I got to turn you on. Hang on. And there we go.
Yes.
And that's like 3 different places that that money kind of goes, that the proceeds go to.
Yes,
Yeah?
so we have, per the Constitution, there's 3 beneficiaries. And the first one is Great Outdoors Colorado that you mentioned, and they're turning 30 this year.
Yay!
And they get 50% of our net revenue.
Okay.
So after we pay our expenses, all the net revenue is distributed with this formula. And so it's 50% to the Great Outdoors Colorado, and they give out grants. They're wholly funded with lottery money. And
they do a lot.
They do a lot, and we're going to tell you more about what they've done.
Yes, and when we
today.
refer to GOCO, we're talking about the Great Outdoors Colorado.
Yes, it's short for GOCO.
Yes.
It's short for that. And then we have the Conservation Trust Fund, which is, they get 40% of our net revenue, and they distribute grants to local governments across the state on a per capita basis. So it's kind of the size of your town determines how much money you get, but those end up in like parks, city parks, all kinds of different infrastructure for the outdoors.
Yes, no, all of it's so important. You don't think about the outdoor space as so many details, like the ballparks that you talk about, and getting kids to be able to go to camps and bighorn sheep. We're going to get into that in a minute. It's a lot.
Yeah, and it's everything. It can be a rodeo pavilion. It can be a swimming pool. It can be trails. It can be restrooms.
Because we're all different.
Yep.
Restrooms. Please put more
restrooms are important.
And then the last one is CPW.
Yes, Colorado Parks and Wildlife. And so they manage all of our state parks around the state. So they use that money various different ways, but they get 10% of the net revenue. And a lot of it is building trails. It's kind of maintenance. Sometimes, new state parks. When you buy a new piece of land, you need a lot of infrastructure, roads, restrooms, trails. So all the money is going to the outdoors, and that's why we have so many amazing outdoor spaces in Colorado to recreate in.
We have so many amazing spaces, everybody. So when we come back, we're going to get into more of those spaces. We'll be back. Ramos Law is an official partner of the Kathie J Show. He's a medical doctor and a lawyer. Ramos Law. What makes us different makes us better. Kathie J. Welcome back to the Kathie J Show, everybody. Did you know that the Colorado Lottery, our Colorado Lottery, has given more than $3.7 billion back to the Colorado outdoors? And you see it everywhere you go. That's why our state is so beautiful. They've also given it to Colorado schools, everybody. It's so impressive. Joining us today is Deputy Director of the Colorado Lottery, Jennifer Anderson. Yay, Jennifer. Okay, so we just established where the money goes to the different parts of the organizations that protect our state and the conservation. So now let's get into the building excellent schools. You guys do that.
Sure. So basically the formula that I mentioned, once the GOCO cap is reached, so it's 50% up to a cap, the legislature can appropriate the leftover money, and they have appropriated it. One of the organizations that receives some of those spillover funds is the Building Excellent Schools Today Fund, or the BEST Fund, and they provide grants around the state for rebuilding schools or huge renovations on schools.
All the schools need renovations.
Yes.
Like some of the ones that were built so old, they need to get asbestos removed from them. Some of them need air conditioning. I mean, there's a lot that needs to go into those schools.
And this is particularly helpful in rural communities because a lot of them don't have the tax base to cover these types of big renovations. So it's been particularly helpful in those small communities, but it's made a big difference.
So every time you guys, you do this, just remember you're helping kids in rural communities get air conditioning or get their school fixed. And it's things like outdoor equipment that schools need, that the kids need. I mean, it goes everywhere that you guys, the money goes to, right? Whatever the county feels they need, the project that they propose.
Yep, it'll be it comes from the grassroots. It's the local, school district applies for the money, how they can best use it. Usually they have some matching funds, but it really makes a big difference.
Absolutely. And so let's talk about the Outdoor Equity Fund.
Sure.
Yeah.
So this is brand new. This is an outdoor equity fund program that was created just a year ago at the legislature. And they're actually they're currently looking at applications to give out their first round of grants. So they received $750,000 last year, and they'll receive even more this year, and they're kind of going to build on that. And it's really to get underserved youth and their families outside. So it's any organization who does that can apply. The definition of underserved is pretty broad, so
I love that.
It's really going to get spread around, I think, and it's going to do a lot of good in terms of getting people outside who may not be able to have that same access.
Yeah, Jennifer, I grew up here, and so in school we got to do the outdoor education program where you go to the mountains and you jump off a tree and trust fall and all that, but it means so much in how you're raised if you know what it's like to be outside in nature.
Yes.
And know what it's like to get outside of the city walls and feel peace and serenity and beauty and all that. So it's so important, this fund. And I love the fact that because we're playing so much in the Colorado Lottery, there's so much extra money going to some cause like this.
Yes, I love it too. I think what we find sometimes in mountain communities, like kids don't get outside because their parents are always working.
Always working, yes.
It's expensive to live in those towns. And so you would think that those are the kids who are getting to go hiking and skiing. And a lot of times they're not. So
that's crazy.
Yep. So after school programs and stuff like that, I think this is going to be money that is well spent.
Yeah, it's well spent. So in recent months, 18 projects got completed, right? And we're going to get into those in a second. But tell me about those projects overall.
So those projects, GoCo is constantly pushing money out the door to
give
grants, right?
That's what I want to hear.
And so we wanted to highlight some of these projects for you all today that are all around the state. You can travel to them. As we get into summer, you might think about going to these places. We kind of want you to know that the lottery helped fund all of them. And we just kind of wanted to highlight, I think we have a good list that's really geographically diverse.
You do. Good open spaces, good trails coming up, yeah. And $9.2 million is what went into these 18 projects, correct?
Yes, that's just one round of grant giving. So that is
just
no
one
small amount to GoCo. They're constantly giving out money. I almost think they can't give it out as fast as we're sending it over to them.
That's awesome. And you know what? That is why so many people want to come to Colorado, because it's such a beautiful state. Because you don't realize what that money is doing. There's so much money, but keep playing on, everybody, and we'll be back with the Colorado Lottery. Kathie J. Oakwood Homes is an official partner of the Kathie J Show. Oakwood Homes, building happiness. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Kathie J Show. Joining us today is Jennifer Anderson. She's the Deputy Director of the Colorado Lottery, and there are so many wonderful projects that are currently benefiting from the spring proceeds from the Colorado Lottery, not just from the year, but just from the spring proceeds, because we like to scratch and do our Colorado Lottery. So Jennifer, take us around the state. Let's start in Greeley.
Okay, let's start in Greeley.
Okay.
So we have Balsam Park in Greeley, and this was a $350,000 GoCo grant, was used for a new nature playground and looped trail.
I love this.
And this is just in the beginning stages, but this is essentially what this will look like. So we're really excited about that.
How beautiful.
Isn't it pretty?
Yeah, I do like that. And Greeley came up with that and proposed it, and then they get the money?
Yes, they apply for the grant, and then GoCo gives it to them, and usually they have to have some matching funds.
Yeah.
They have to have some skin in the game.
I love that, though. Hey, yeah, put your county money in there, too. Okay, now let's go over to Fremont County.
Yes,
All right.
Fremont County's Borrego Ranch, you got a $50,000 grant to conserve natural habitat and ecosystems as well as open space.
Nice.
So this is, this is kind of, that's what open space looks like, really.
Right, I was going to say, so so you can go walking on it and trails and stuff, right? Is that what open space is?
Absolutely. It's for recreating, basically.
I love it.
And just to keep, we have areas are developing so fast that it's important that we continue to buy land and keep them as open space.
I'm so glad you pointed that out, because that is the truth. You buy big open spaces to keep it from being developed, correct?
Yeah.
We want to be able to say, field, beautiful farming, like
Absolutely.
animals, right?
Yeah.
Things that are important to our...
And wildlife habitat, like you said, is important too, yeah.
All right, now let's go down to Alamosa County.
Yes, so Alamosa County's Environmental Education Center.
I love this.
They received $265,000 to build it and teach youth regenerative agriculture and carbon reducing practices.
We all need to know that. The future generations definitely need to know that.
And one cool statistic, this area is actually within walking distance of 4,000 residents. So it's very accessible. It's going to make a big difference for Alamosa, I think.
Absolutely. Is that, their bees? Are they, the importance of bees? You got to know the importance of bees, right?
That looks like that is what they're doing.
Be careful. No.
Those kids look very interested.
They do.
I don't know if I was that well behaved.
When you were right, but hey, if it was something interesting like that, I bet you we'd all be too, like they are. All right, now let's head over to Salida.
Yes, so in Centerville in Salida, they got a $300,000 grant to Central Colorado Conservancy for a 650-acre ranch. And this is protecting wetlands and meadows that provide food shelter for elk, deer, bears, and birds.
Yes.
And so we're seeing a lot of these ranches that are, no longer used for ranching, and then they can be bought or conserved with a conservation easement, so that we are preserving that land for future generations. It's really cool.
Right, and so then the elk, and they have migration patterns they can continue and stuff without that land being developed.
Exactly.
It's so important. Okay, now the Upper South Platte River.
Yes, so the Upper South Platte River, they got over $136,000 grant to support the CUSP field crew to do fire mitigation, habitat restoration, and weed mitigation. We all know how important fire mitigation is.
Yes.
The cool thing about this crew was it was made up of people who were either underemployed or unemployed due to the pandemic. So it was able to employ people that maybe really needed the work.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
It gave right back to the residents in the county as well. I love that. And I learned so much when we went and cleaned the Runyon on the res.
Yes.
I learned so
really
much
fun.
about things that are natural to our habitat, and then that olive tree that grows along the riverbed that you got to pull out.
Yes.
Because it infects
invasive.
It's so amazing, the things that I've learned by being with you guys. All right, so let's talk about the mitigation and the habitat mitigation one more time. What is that?
So the fire mitigation is really what you just described. I mean, making sure that the brush isn't too heavy. If there were a fire, how quickly would it spread?
Yes.
So that's fire mitigation. It's important. As we've seen, more recently, there's a lot more wildfires happening.
There is a lot more wildfire. I know. So, and you guys help with that as well.
Yes.
They do everything. So don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to highlight some more amazing projects with Jennifer. All right, so speaking of the Colorado Lottery, next year is the lottery's 40th anniversary. Did you know that? Ooh, they're going to do big things, everybody. Get ready for it. Kathie J. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Kathie J Show. So today we've been looking at our beautiful state with Deputy Director of the Colorado Lottery. This is Jennifer Anderson, everybody. Yay! So the spring proceeds that have come in from all of us scratching and enjoying playing the Colorado Lottery has been good. Because it goes to certain places. It's allocated, we as the voters and the legislature, goes to certain places, and then whatever is the spillover, the legislature has said, now it goes to these places. And these are the projects that we're highlighting as that kind of money. It's pretty impressive. So we've taken it apart. We've gone through Salida and Alamosa and down there. So now let's head to Douglas County.
Yes.
All right.
So Douglas Mountain Ranch in Clear Creek County got a $541,000 grant to protect critical habitat for Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep and movement of elk. And so we have to remember that we have to have habitat for this wildlife, or it's the same as people. If we didn't have homes, we wouldn't be able to live here.
Exactly,
so it's the same. We have to make it comfortable.
Yes, and I would never think, so they have to come tell you, look, this is where the bighorn sheep are chilling. We need to make sure that we keep this area, right? That's kind of how the proposal and stuff is, right? Because you don't know what's happening in that area of Douglas County.
Oh, absolutely not. So it is very much a collaboration with local government as well as GOCO. And GOCO recently hired regional people so that they can be more in tune with each region around the state, and they're not just all in Denver, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because the people on the Western Slope, they definitely always point out they're different from the rest of us in Denver.
Yes, and in fact they are.
Yeah, they are, totally. All right, so now let's go over to El Paso County. That's beautiful, by the way, with Big Horse Sheep Bar. Okay, so what is this?
The Falcon Regional Park in El Paso County. So this is baseball fields, multi-use field, playgrounds, pavilions. Honestly, the list goes on and on. There's open spaces, restrooms, concession. They got $350,000 is a lot, and it's gone a long ways for them. And these are so important, fields like this, because it's kind of a community gathering place. I mean, this is a place where people go spend a ton of time on the weekends, as you know, as a mom.
Yeah, right.
You've got kids playing. You're sitting out there all day at a tournament.
Yes.
So this type of infrastructure can really improve the community.
Yes, and the more we scratch off everybody, remember that means better bathrooms that they're going to have.
That's true too. If that's your number one priority, another reason to play the lottery.
You just pointed out, I'm the mom. But you know what? It's so funny. When I was in college back in the day in Durango, I went to school at Fort Lewis College. There was a day that we all had to go volunteer because there was a baseball field being built over in the area, and it was being funded by the Colorado Lottery. It was back in the day, but it was one of the first projects. So it's so cool every time I see another baseball field. Yeah. Because that was so long ago. It was only last year, everybody in college. But no, it was, I just think it's amazing that you've been helping people, and we haven't even realized that it's been from the Colorado Lottery for the most part. I think. Yeah. We just thought the city was building a new baseball field or something. It was the Colorado Lottery.
Yes, and we try to put up signs to look for those. There are these little square white signs that say GOCO Lottery, and that basically means it was funded in part with grant money.
That's awesome. All right, now let's head over to Lippincott Ranch.
Lippincott Ranch. It's right on the border of Boulder and Jeffco. Isn't that beautiful?
That's why it's so beautiful. It's over there in Boulder.
It's like people's backyard, basically.
Yeah, I know those lucky people.
$1 million grant to acquire the land, and it's a high biodiversity area. So that is awesome that they were able to acquire this and preserve it. And I think that'll be a piece of land, as you can see. We know Jefferson County as well as Boulder are growing really fast.
Yeah, so people definitely
acquiring land like this is really important.
Yeah, that's why you had to pay the $1 million for that.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? That's why people are going there to live. That's why people come and visit Boulder, because of the open space and the beautiful land.
Yeah,
it is just some of the most beautiful, landscape that you'll ever see. The Rocky Mountains. Okay, so let's head over to, what is this? Gateway Park.
The next was North Gateway Park in the city of Lamar. And that's a $500,000 grant to fund improvements and amenities, also concession stands, picnic areas, campsites. Oh, this list goes on and on as well.
That town's going to have some fun this summer, or when that all gets done.
Yes, and so this is another great place to think about when you want to go camping. I mean, don't forget the southern part of the state and other areas. I mean, it's important to remember that there's also great camping in the plains. It's not all just in the western side of the state.
When you took us up to Bar Lake, Adams County, right? Is that Bar Lake?
Yes.
Yes, and it's kind of the plains. It's kind of flat out there. But we had the best time. You guys had that little conservation educational center. Then you had that new fishing dock that everyone was using.
Yes.
There are so many different fun places that you can go around our state, and it's all been set up from the Colorado Lottery and what they've been doing with all of our money, everybody. So it is the beautiful time of the year. Where are you going to be hiking this year? You're a hiker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I spend a lot of time in Grand County. I'm hoping to get to Crested Butte. I love Crested Butte. As well as, we go up to Boulder to go hiking for the day, or any of the open spaces around Denver when we're just looking for a day trip. So we camp all over the state if we can get a camping spot.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was going to say. How are those camping spots looking?
Okay, but I think it's another good reason why lottery money is going to be increasingly important is just we have more and more people using these places. So we have to create more. We have to create more campsites. We have to fund the maintenance and the cleanup and the infrastructure, more bathrooms, because we've never seen this number of people using the outdoors.
Yeah, but that's pretty awesome.
It's awesome.
The pandemic made us realize I don't want to be inside anymore. I got to get outside. And we have one of the most beautiful states in the nation to do it in.
We really do.
Any final words to everybody about why they got to keep playing on the Colorado Lottery?
No, I would just say we appreciate the support. We love that we were able to highlight some of the things that we pay for, but there's plenty more. So if you want to go to our website, coloradolottery.com, we actually have a proceeds map where it's interactive.
Really?
You can see kind of in your area what we funded, and we try to keep that updated so it has new projects in it. Yeah, it's very cool.
Yep. You know what I love about the Colorado Lottery app? Everybody download it today because it always reminds you, hey, there's a bonus thing happening right now. If you go and buy a $10 scratch ticket, you'll get an extra $2 blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Like the most amazing things happen on the Colorado Lottery app. And the Second Chances is on that app.
Yes.
Download it today. Go to coloradolottery.com. Get all the information. But everybody, get out and enjoy our beautiful state. Thank you so much, Jenna.